Have you got something else?
Yes. I'm wondering, I have the Lotosblume and Du bist die Ruhe, whichever you prefer to do today.
Which would you prefer?
I don't mind.
Well, Die bist die Ruhe is maybe something to begin with tomorrow.
Okay.
So we do Lotosblume. So suddenly we move from Schubert to Schumann.
Yes. And tomorrow back to Schumann.
What is the background to this poem? Where does it come? You're
Um,
very well informed, and I like to hear.
Well, I don't know where the song comes in, but I looked up the flower, and I found out that it entered Europe only like 40 years before the song was written. So it's pretty much a song about an exotic flower that people have only come to notice, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful allegory between this flower and the lover.
Let me tell you that there was a huge understanding of Oriental poetry, and the poem comes as part of a cycle called Myrten, which Schumann wrote for his wife Clara as a wedding present for September 1840. And in it we have British poetry, Scottish British poetry translated. One of the great songs of Schumann is called Aus den Hebräischen Gesängen, from the Hebrew Melodies, which is a poem of Byron. Mein Herz ist schwer. Based on, now that's a wonderful story, what it's based on. A man called Isaac Nathan who told Byron that there should be something as popular as Thomas More's Irish melodies, and that he should compose Hebrew melodies because Mr. Nathan was in personal possession of the tunes sung by the Jewish people in the temple before the destruction by the Romans. And I believed him. And a short while afterwards, Mr. Nathan had to leave England because of debts and a whole lot of lies, and he established the Sydney Conservatorium in Australia, where there is a statue to him. So you can't keep a good businessman down. He's going to make it one day. This Mr. Nathan. And, but actually, Byron did some of the most beautiful poems. The Assyrian came down like the wolf from the fold, and his cohorts were gleaming in purple and gold. The destruction of Sennacherib. All of these from biblical scenes. This particular song, however, is Heine, who was a favorite poet of Schumann. Should I tell you what the Lotosblume significance is? It's a beautiful, innocent flower, but it can only grow in the conditions of the worst slime and mud. So it is about beauty and sexuality.
Okay.
And the link between the flower that looks so pure in the middle of these Indian places, but if you go down, it thrives on, it grows in dirt.
Interesting.
Slime underneath the water. The idea is something so beautiful is also connected to something so sexual. And he makes of the poem something very sexual.
Okay, that changes it.
It's like a girl who is awakened and in love it's like a wedding night.
Okay.
And that's what the Accelerando is.
Okay.
And it's waiting for the wedding night like Schumann was waiting for the wedding night with Clara. All these secret messages to Clara, like Nusma, their Brautgam, who waits by the girl who waits for the bridegroom by the tree. It's an extraordinary selection of poems, all of them about lovers from every land and from every culture, and like Robert and Clara are lovers from the same culture.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear the song. put a sock in your mouth if you want actually to sing piano. It's not right. So actually it's all, this was very beautiful. You have a beautiful sound. Song, German setting that Schumann did. Die Lotosblume ängstigt sich. The sich comes with the verb. It's very peculiar to say, die Lotosblume ängstigt sich. And it's an effect that he's doing
okay. Yeah.
to, so it's what ängstigt sich. Sich. You understand,
yes,
goes
yes.
with the Endstich.
Grammatically.
Yeah, it's a reflexive verb.
Okay.
Die Lotosblume ängstigt sich vor die Sonnenpracht. Ängstigt sich, and then the poem goes, die Lotosblume ängstigt sich vor der Sonnenpracht, not ängstigt sich vor der. And the reason why, the fear, die Lotosblume ängstigt sich. What's going to happen with the sunlight? Am I going to burn to death? So you see, it's a strange effect, but you have to understand the grammar. And you ängstigt sich vor. Not
He does
sich.
it again in sittert, but...
Yeah. It's like, yeah. Well, the zittert has not got a part of the verb German grammar that goes with it. You understand?
Yes,
That
yeah.
it's just simply zitter. But, so let's just do a bit of it. Did you think before coming in of your color? Just open the voice. No!
Yeah, correct.
You have to actually choose a color. You can't just start like the computer. Boom!
Yes, I did, yeah.
It's a Lotosblume. Ängstigt sich. Die Lotosblume. So exotic, die Lotosblume. There's no such thing as a German poem of the period that is obscene. There is only suggestive.
Mm-hmm.
So she reveals herself and her face, and then she becomes, and then du feine tut zittern. These are the phrases that, right, so sie blüht.
Sie blüht und glüht und leuchtet und strahlt Stunde. Sie duftet und weint und verdacht Feuer und
So I believe it's not too slow. And then the second time again. Because you've got two ritordandos, you can't do the first one too much. Because then you've got nowhere to go. Okay. When you have this demande, moonlight. It's the color of moonlight. That we have to really love challenging thing to get all these different. How the moon is her bula, which means her
wooer.
yeah, her boyfriend, her betrothed or her husband. Yeah. It is about moon, sun, and it's about a lover who is too strong, frightens him. That's the sun. Ängstlich sich vor der Sonne baut. But the moon, who is gentle with her and knows how to bring out her blossoms, because remember this is a flower that flowers at night.
Yes.
A gentle lover will really be her best kind of lover. Not something who comes in like the sun. And it's that idea of Schumann promising, in a way, that he loves Clara so much that she is not to be frightened of the wedding night.
Considered.
That she's not to be frightened of that moment. That he will be like the moonlight with her. And after that, my goodness, 7, 8 children really. One after the other, with hardly a moment's gap in between. And she was supposed to be a pianist with a career as well. So many children. Marie, Elise, Julie, Ferdinand, Ludwig, Eugenie, Felix, all too many children, one after the other, like. And I think you get the impression that Clara enjoyed this side of life. She was a very, very sensual woman. Okay. Try now with this playing within the key. Once you learn to do that with ostinati of every song, instead of cutting it, you actually make the movement this way.
Träumend
actually know in a nice type of refined way what that sitter means. Not sit, but then not get too slow too suddenly. And you're very good, you understand, you must work on that. You must work on getting the sound, because it immediately solves certain problems of balance. It isn't that you were making too much sound, but your chords were too present. So we were hearing dum, 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 and that was taking away from her ability to sing a line that way. To be able to provide, and I use my metaphor again, the pot must be boiling like this, not... You have to keep the movement, the sound must be there, you have to hear the notes. The secret, ladies and gentlemen, of this type of accompanying, and I'll explain it because you're not all piano professionals, it's something called the double escapement mechanism in piano playing. Double escapement is how the jack and the hammer and the key are formed in piano playing. So if I play like this, I am going through two mechanisms. I'm only using the second. So actually, I'm using no. When I go softer, I'm not using any less energy. It's the same amount of energy. But it's not allowing the piano to, the key to return to its full position. On very well-regulated pianos, you can actually get that quite quickly. The more you can actually experiment with that and find within the key ways of, then you don't have to go, you can't get it any softer. And accompany with so much string background chord where there is no significance but where we just need to hear the harmony continuing. That's what we have to do. But you made a very good beginning with it. It was very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.